Hi guys. So thank you so much for joining me in today's live session. So I'll be talking about my experience at Wallet and SV.co, what I learned and how it has helped me, and also a bit about the program framework of SV.co. Right. So first of all, congratulations on being shortlisted to SV.co. You've done a great job. It's absolutely an amazing victory, I must say. So take a moment to pat yourself on your back and congratulate yourself for having come this far. Now, if you have any queries, you can ask at #admissions in the public Slack. Now, today, this is me, Arya, and this is the startup I built at SV.co Wallet, and I'll be talking about this. So this is the team Wallet. Myself, Akshay, and Irshad, we were the co-founders, and Shruti and Gary, we had 2 employees. Now, what was Wallet? Wallet is a mobile app that helps you that helps facilitate cardless ATM transactions. So just a second. Looks like I haven't shared the screen. All right. So really sorry about that. Yep. So congratulations on being shortlisted to SV.co. Any queries at #admissions. So today I'll be talking about myself, my experience at SV.co Wallet, and also about the program framework. So this is a team wallet. Myself, Akshay, and Irshad, and this is Shruti, and we had one more person, Gary. Now, Wallet is a mobile app that helps enable cardless ATM transactions on your mobile phone. And this is a short video on how Wallet works. Yep. So how it works is by it uses a QR code technology to work. Now, moving forward, initially when we started, it was pretty much like how you guys did. We were all scared. We did not know what to do. We did not even know if we were good enough for this. And in our time, yeah, I mean, I guess you have the starter box, right? So we had that as well, and that is what actually motivated us, to get going and start this. And once we clear the coding challenge and moved on to the interview session and everything, then we started gaining confidence that probably yes, we can do this. So you guys are folks who are going to attend the interview, and I'm pretty sure you guys will all do well. Just be yourself and be confident. Don't fake. Just put yourself out there, and I'm pretty sure you guys will nail it. Now, Wallet, we built a functional prototype in 6 months, and then we had the opportunity to pitch the product to a number of investors and customers. We also got featured on local media. Now, moving forward, I'll add more to this, as and when I encounter different topics. Now, moving forward to the SV.co program framework, it is a 6 months course. So you will be studying or probably learning how to build a startup entirely online for 6 months. So maybe you might have one or two connect meetings where you get to see these people in person, but more or less it is a virtual course. So all your learning will be online. And even after the course, you will have support from the SV.co team for another 5 years. Now, after the course, after the SV.co program, you might already know that you have 6 ways to graduate, and it is not necessary that you graduate in the very first year. So that is the reason why SV.co supports you for another 5 years. Now, all the learning happens online, right? So how do you track your progress? How does the SV.co team know that you are doing something, or how do you validate your progress? And that happens through the timeline. This is the link to Wallet's timeline. So I'll just open it for you guys. Right. So this is the wallet timeline. So as you can see, we have a number of events where you update your progress. So, every time we renamed our product, so we updated it on the timeline. Then there's a team update. We wrote a blog post. We got showcased in media. And then moving forward, we created we built our mobile app. So we have an update here. So likewise, you will keep updating your progress in the timeline. And how does SV.co monitor the progress? It is through targets. Now they give you team targets as well as founder targets. Now this is how it appears on the timeline. So you can view all the targets assigned to you or a particular founder, and it can be seen as pending or expired or completed. And this will help you stay focused, stay on track, and actually achieve all the milestones you need to. Now, how will the targets look like? It'll be complete instructions. Now, this is an example of a prototype, build a prototype target. So in our version 1 prototype, in this target, they've given a description of what we must do and how we must implement this, how must we present it. So it'll be a detailed set of instructions on how to accomplish that target. And then there'll also be included a rubric, which means that they'll let you know what specific things you need to complete in order to get extra points or extra credits. So that will also be included in each target. Now, all these, even though these are all there, you can at any point of time reach out to the SV.co team and seek their help in completing your targets. Or, if you do not understand, if you need more information, you can always reach out to them. You might already know what this is. All the conversations, everything happens through the public Slack channel. It's a very useful tool, I must say, because you have a number of channels, and right now I'm pretty sure you guys will be posting your queries and admissions, right? So you have a dedicated channel for a particular communication, and they'll also be sharing a lot of useful links, and you can have a great number of discussions. You'll also have town halls. Now on every Monday at a particular time, you have a town hall where everybody will come online on the public Slack, and you will discuss your progress. The SV.co team will let everybody know the status of the batch, and you will go through what you've done in the previous week, etc. So this is just to keep everybody on the same page. Let me talk about the faculty. I mean, this is one amazing feature they have. I'm not sure if we made full use of it, but a lot of teams did, and it did show in their results. Now, in the faculties, they have a page here. I'm pretty sure you would have seen that as well. In the SV.co page, there's a faculty link where you can see all the amazing faculty they have. At any point of time, the beauty is that at any point of time, you can get in touch with them, seek their advice or help, and that is going to benefit you a long way. And in the case of Spenwise, these guys actually went on to continuing their startup. So we're all from batch 1, and they're still continuing their startup. They're incubated in Zone Startups in Mumbai. So these guys actually had identified another startup called Happy, which happens to be in the similar space as theirs, and their founder is their mentor at the moment. So This happened via the sv.co faculty, faculty page, and how they got started talking to them, and that's how they got a mentor such as the co-founder of Happy. And then moving forward, you also have the alumni. So I am an alumni, and we have n number of alumni just like me, or people have done better. So you guys can at any point seek help from us. We'll always be happy to help you. So we'd be more than happy to share all the learning we've got in during the process. And yeah, you guys can at any point of time reach out to us. And then you have office hours. So office hours are 20-minute meetings or 20-minute sessions you can schedule with the faculty or the alumni. So you can see it's like every week we will be, the faculty and the alumni, we will be allocating a particular 30 minutes or 20 minutes just for office hours. So depending on our availability, you can always connect with us and discuss with us anything related to your startup, any mentoring or any guidance or any help you need at any point of time. It need not be anything, with respect to the alumni, it need not be just about the startup, but it can also be, just in case you are feeling down and you need some motivation, right? In my personal case, you can always reach out to me. So it helps you stay on track. It helps you stay motivated when you connect with people who have been there and done that. You will also have sessions such as these. Vishnu Gopal, who was our batch coordinator and is the CTO of SV.co, he'll also be taking a lot of sessions. You will have sessions from guest faculty as well. So this is also an amazing feature that they have. Now, talking about the startup journey, what will you actually do in these 6 months? The first stage is idea discovery. Here is where you will build a product deck. So most probably in the first month, you will actually be playing a lot around your idea, around the problem statement you've chosen, and you will work and try and figure out a proper solution to that, and you will be building a product deck. So more about that you will get to know in due time. A product deck is where it's a pitch deck which you use in your presentations, where you'll pitch your product. More on that later. So then the second stage, once you're done with the product deck and you have a clear idea of what you're going to build and how you're going to do it, then it is time to actually go ahead and build the product. So you have a prototyping stage. In the prototyping stage, instead of right away jumping into building the product, you will actually build the wireframes first. Wireframes are basically, how the product looks, right? A basic idea of all the features that you require. And then you actually go on to building the MVP, or the minimum viable product. So MVP is not actually a full product, but it will be capable of performing those certain features and functions that you want to incorporate in your actual product. So this is what you will be building moving forward. And then you have the customer validation stage. Once you have a very strong product and a very strong pitch deck, you can move on to acquiring customers. You can acquire first customers. So in our case, wallets customers are obviously banks or ATM vendors, and we actually got introductions to a couple of banks such as ICICI Bank, Federal Bank, and so on. So we had a fair chance of acquiring our first customers. In case you actually have customers, you're successful in acquiring customers, you go ahead and have traction. You start, your startup gets functional, and then there are, by the end of 6 months, there are 6 ways of graduating, right? So either your startup is doing great, and you really want to take it forward, so you can apply to accelerator programs, or you become self-sustainable. So that's also amazing. Another great outcome is where you get acqui-hired as a team, where your entire team is taken up by another company, and you can also get hired or go for higher education and so on. So there are many different ways to graduate. So at this point of time, at the end of 6 months, this is when you actually decide on what you want to do further. So for some of us, it might turn out that you just realize that maybe I'm not meant to be an entrepreneur. Maybe I like working with the startup ecosystem, but I don't want to build a startup of my own. So it can also be a good platform to validate whether you really want to start up or not. You also get introduction to investors. So this is actually, So a continuation of graduation. So you get introduced to many investors. In our case, we had the opportunity to pitch to a number of investors at a number of contact events. So one such event we went to was the Yes Kerala event, where we got to pitch to investors from the Indian Angel Network, which is one of the best investor companies in India. And we also get to talk to partner companies. So we had a hiring process at askme.com. They interviewed our team and we actually got selected, and we were offered a seed funding of 5 lakhs or so, but we did not take it. That's a different part of the story. But you get a lot of introductions to partner companies or investors and so on. Now, what after sv.co, right? That's a very obvious question. You build a lot of skills that you can't build otherwise in college. So I've built a lot of skills doing this program, namely, let's leave the communication skills, leadership skills, team building skills, all that apart. But beyond that, I've been able to understand that it's okay to take risks and it's okay to fail. That kind of flexibility has come up, and it's been very useful because even after wallet happened, I guess I'm willing to take more risks and I'm willing to experiment with things and I'm okay with failing. So you kind of work on your personality and your character, and that really helps shape who you are going to become. Build a partnership company. So yeah, you have to sign a partnership deal with sv.co. It's not a great deal because you will not be a registered startup unless you register as a private limited company, but you can start one in partnership with sv.co, where they will help you build your startup for the 6 months, and after the 6 months, for 5 years they'll support you in a number of ways, and that is basically what is written in that partnership agreement. It's not a huge deal. So you basically learn how to build a partnership company. I learned how to validate a startup idea. Yes, this is very crucial because I've met lots of people who have a lot of ideas, but then they have no idea of which idea to choose, right? How to go about it. They don't know what's the first step they must take. So this is one amazing thing that you learn in the process, because once you build a startup and you know how things work, it will be easier for you to understand if a startup idea can work or it will not. So that is one great thing you will learn to build a product deck. This, yes, absolutely, because we a lot of us have terrible presentation skills, but this is one great platform where you can make a lot of pathetic decks, and in the end you learn to make one good product deck. A product deck, it should essentially cover all the points, all the features of your product, all that you're trying to convey about the team or the product or your startup, or what you've done so far or what you're going to do, and all this in just 8 or 9 slides. That's the maximum limit, or maybe 11. So that is a great skill that you will acquire, how to process information and convey it in the best way possible. Created a company bank account. Well, we did not create a company bank account, but I know a number of startups who actually did. So being in college, I don't think you actually need you ever feel the need to do such stuff, but when you actually go out into the real world and really do such stuff, it really adds value to you. Learn to build wireframes. So wireframes, as I said, it's just a depiction of the features that you want to incorporate in your product. So these are the wireframes we created for Wallet. As you can see, it's a very minimal design. We're not focused on the design or the aesthetics, but we've given importance to the functionality, like what do we want to see where. So this is a basic outline or the basic framework, or what you call as wireframes. You will learn to build this, and then you will learn how to build an MVP or a minimum viable product. So this was a wireframe, and this is the real UI that we used actually. So here you can see a functional, we actually built a functional prototype. So in our case, we actually required an ATM to do the transactions, but we did not have access to that. So we created a mock ATM and a mobile app. So that is how we try to demonstrate the whole process that we're intending to convey. And here's a short video that shows the same. So as you can see, we had an XYZ bank ATM, which from which we actually made the transaction. Of course, we did not get any money, and it was just a minimum viable product. But we were able to build this in 6 months. And moving forward, we actually got we refined our UI, and a lot of we added a lot of functionality also to the product. Now, this is one thing you will definitely learn, and then you will learn how to make cold calls. So, for those of you who are not aware of what cold calls is, it is actually making a telephone call or a visit to somebody without intimating them well before, in order to sell your goods or service or pitch your startup. So, one thing that comes along with starting up is being shameless. You get to a point where you stop thinking what others are thinking about you, and you just go ahead and do it. So this is a great example of that scenario where you make cold calls. You ring to random companies, you email to random co-founders or founders or CEOs of great companies, and then you ask them, you seek out for help, seek out for mentorship, and so on, seek out for partnership as well. So this is one thing you will definitely learn to do. Learn how to acquire your first customers. So in our case, customers were our banks, like I already mentioned. So we got the opportunity to pitch to ICICI Bank and Federal Bank, and unfortunately the partnership did not happen. But if they did, they'd have been our first customers. So basically, you have a number of opportunities uh, to go ahead and pitch your product to investors or partner companies or customers or any number of people. So that is a great way to acquire customers or learn a lot about communicating with others. Learn how to understand business models. So this again works well. We did not actually get to a point where we needed a business model, but you get to know about a number of startups and how they function, how are they making revenue, how to present your startup in such a way that it adds value to your customers as well as to the startup itself, as well as to all the stakeholders. So you get to learn about a number of business models and probably build your own one and execute it. Build communication skills, absolutely, because can you imagine, I'm pretty sure you guys will be of the age less than 25 or at least 22, and being of such young age and going up to experienced, learned professionals, and being able to communicate with them via emails or calls or in person pitching with them. I mean, that takes a great deal of effort, and it ought to change something in you. And without even you realizing, you're building upon your communication skills, on how you can present better, how you can reach out to somebody and convince them, or help them believe in your idea. So yes, I did develop a lot of communication skills. Another great thing I must point out here is the ability to write good emails, because when you keep sending emails, initially all those mistakes will happen, but eventually you'll start learning. When you don't know how to request for a meeting to somebody else, you start googling and you figure out that this is how you write an email to ask for a particular request, and you learn a lot of things in the process. Now, one more thing I would like to mention here is that we had a full-time English teacher, English trainer, Mr. Manoj. He was of great help. We used to have great sessions. We had a session on email writing as well. We had on pronunciation and presentation skills as well. So that really helped a lot of us in bettering our communication skills. Learn how to pitch to an investor. So initially we actually got the opportunity to pitch at an event. I don't remember. So I went to the investor and I started pitching, and it was a disaster. But eventually, you learn, right? You take feedback from others, and over time, you realize what they want to know and what you have to say, and you try to find a balance between the two. And finally, good communication does happen, and they do try to understand what you want to say. So yes, you do learn how to pitch to an investor. And finally, I learned how to build a startup. So I'm not saying that the learning is complete, but actually learning in theory and doing it in practice, it has really helped me understand how the entire process works. And I'm pretty confident to say that probably you guys can iterate the whole process and build your own startup once you've done this. Like in my case, about wallet, like I can see some of you have asked why we did not take the offer. So wallet eventually went on to fail. I can say that very confidently, because it's not something we're ashamed of. We did give it our best, but being in the fintech industry, it's pretty hard to launch your product. So we decided to move to something more easier, something where we can enter the market more quickly, and that is why we pivoted. But all the learning that we acquired in the first process, I think it's been of great value, and right now we can build a startup of our own with all the learning that we had. So that is one thing you'll definitely learn. You can iterate and build more such products. Now, I guess that's it. So all the very best for your interviews. Like I mentioned, just be yourself, be confident, and you know be happy, live in the moment, because this is actually happening. You're putting yourself out there. Just make the best impression you can while being yourself. So all the very best. You can ask your queries on Slack at Arya Murli. So I'll be answering your queries there. Thank you so much for listening. Bye bye.